Hi, fourth grade. It's me, Miss Belts, and we're going to work on math again today. So let's get started. Today, we are going to solve with fluency one-step problems involving division. We're going to review important vocabulary, and we're going to represent and solve division problems with strip diagrams, equations, estimations, and equal groups with place value disks. And we're going to do this because it's important to be able to determine how many objects are shared equally in a group. Our important vocabulary words for today, we have 3 of them. The first one is division, and that is the process of sharing equally. The second word is divide, and that means to share or separate into equal groups or equal parts. And our last one is equal, and when something is equal, that means they have the same amount. Let's look at our first example together. Garth was making a display with packs of sodas. His manager, or his boss, told him that he needed to put 368 cases of soda into 4 rows. How many cases of soda does Garth need to put in each row? So when we have a word problem, one thing that we're going to always do is we're going to read it again, and then we're going to highlight the important information. So let's do that. Garth was making a display with packs of sodas. His manager told him that he needed to put 368 cases of soda into 4 rows. How many cases of soda does Garth need to put in each row? Well, I know that 368 cases of soda in 4 rows is important, so I'm going to highlight it. And my question is, how many cases of soda does Garth need to put in each row? Well, that's important to know because that's what I'm trying to figure out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my strip diagram. So let's think about this. Do I know my total? Yeah, I know my total. He has 368 cases. And I know I'm going to break that into 4 rows. And I'm trying to figure out how many are in each row. So my strip diagram is going to look something like this. I have my total of 368 cases. I have row 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I don't know how much is going to go in each row. So that's why I have my question mark. Now I'm going to use my strip diagram to make my equation. So I'm going to say that there are 368 cases of soda divided into 4 rows, and that's going to give me my number in each row. So 368 divided by 4 equals, I don't know, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So I'm going to do my estimation next. So I have 368 and I'm going to divide it into 4. Well, I know that 368 is pretty close to 400. So I'm going to say 368 is 400, and I'm still going to divide it by 4. I know that 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 10 is 40, and 4 times 100 is 400. So I'm going to use my place value disks, and I'm going to drag them into each row until I get up to 400. I'm going to start with my greatest number, which is my 100 for now. And I'm going to count by 100s until I get as close to 400 as possible. So I'm going to say 100, 200, 300, 400. And when I do that, I actually get to 400. And that means that there are about 100 cases in each row. But now I actually want to solve it. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. I am going to divide 368 divided by 4. Well, over here I said that 4 times 1 was 4, 4 times 10 was 40, and 4 times 100 was 400. But 368 is smaller than 400, so unfortunately, I can't use any of my hundreds, so I'm going to have to use tens. So I'm going to count by 10, and I'm going to put in each row until I get as close to 368 as I possibly can. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, 300, 310, 320, 330, 340, 350, 360. Now I've used all the 10s that I can use. So now I have to go to my 1s. So I'm at 360, 361, 362, 363, 364. But I can keep going. So I'm trying to get to 368. 365, 366, 367, 368. So I got to my number of 368. So now I have to figure out how many are in each row. So let's count them. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 91, 92. So that means that there are 92 cases in each row. Now remember, the whole reason that I do estimation is to make sure my answer is reasonable. I said my estimate there was going to be about 100 in each row, and my answer was 92 in each row. Well, 100 and 92 are pretty close together, so I know my answer is reasonable. Let's look at another question. Here's what this one says. There are 756 pieces of candy that are going to be given to 6 different classes. How many pieces of candy will each class get? Now remember, when we have a word problem, the first thing we're going to do is read it again and highlight the important information. So let's do that. There are 756 pieces of candy that are going to be given to 6 different classes. How many pieces of candy will each class get? Well, I know that 756 pieces of candy is important. And I also know that there are 6 different classes, so that's important. How many pieces of candy will each class get? That's my question I'm trying to figure out, so of course that's important. So I'm going to use this information that's highlighted to create my strip diagram. So let's think about it. Do I know my total? Yeah, I know my total. It's 756 pieces of candy. How many classes are going to get this candy? That's right, 6 different classes. And I'm trying to figure out what? You got it. How many pieces of candy is each class going to get? So my strip diagram is going to look something like this. I have 756 pieces of candy. I have class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're trying to figure out how many they're each going to get. So I'm going to write my equation. 756 pieces of candy divided into 6 classes equals the number for each class. So really, I'm doing 756 divided by 6 equals, I don't know. That's what I'm figuring out. So now we're going to do our estimation. So I want you to think about it. 756. What is that close to? And what's 6 close to that we could use easier numbers to make an estimation? Well, I clicked too many buttons, sorry. I'm going to do 750, and I'm going to do it divided by 5 because that's a little bit easier for me. So I have my 5 classes, and just like I did in the last problem, I'm going to use my place value discs. I'm going to start with my hundreds, and I'm going to see if I can use them. And in this case, I can. So 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Can I go another 100 for all 5 of them? Well, let's try it. 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. Oh, that's too far. So I can't do another 100. So that means I have to go to my 10s. So now I'm going to count by 10s until I get as close to 750 as I possibly can. So I'm at 500. So 510, 520, 530, 540, 550. But I'm still not there, so I'm going to keep going until I get all the way to 750. So 550, 560, 570, 580, 590, 600, 610, 620, 630, 640, 650, 660, 670, 680, 690, 700, 710, 720, 730, 740, 750. Well, that's what I was trying to get to, so I get to stop. Do I have to use any of my ones? No, because I got to the number I was trying to get to. Now, the way I find my answer is I look at my classes and I actually figure out how many is in each one. So I have 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. So that means that each class gets about 100 pieces of candy. Now I'm actually going to solve. So I'm going to do 756 divided by 6. So I have my 6 classes, and I have my place value discs. Again, I'm going to start with my biggest denomination, which is my 100. So 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. Let's see if I can go another 100. 700, 800, 900, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. Nope, that's too far, so I can't do any more hundreds. So now I go to my tens. So I'm at 600, 610, 620, 630, 640, 650, 660, 670, 680, 690, 700, 710, 720. Let's see if I can go again. 730, 740, 750, 760, 770, 780. But I can only go up to 756, so I cannot use any more tens. So now I'm going to use my ones. So remember, I was at, let's see, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, so 720. So I'm going to start at 720. 721, 21, 722, 723, 724, 725, 726, 727, 728, 729, 730, 731, 732, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. So I'm all the way up to 756. Now remember, the way I get my answer is I count how many are in each class. So 100, 110, 120, 121, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So that means that each class gets 126 pieces of candy. Sorry, 126. There's no and, there's no decimal. Each class gets 126 pieces of candy. Now remember, I looked to see if that's a reasonable answer. I said my estimate was 150. Well, 150 and 126 are pretty close, so I know that it's a reasonable answer. So let's review what we did today. Today we talked about solving with fluency one-step problems involving division. We reviewed important vocabulary. We represented and solved division problems with strip diagrams, equations, estimations, and equal groups with place value discs. And we did this because it's important to determine how many objects are shared equally in a group. So now it's your turn. You're going to represent and solve two word problems the same exact way that we just did. You're going to do a strip diagram, an equation, an estimation, and you're going to solve with equal groups and place value discs. Your page is going to look like this, so it's already set up for you. You have your word problem, your strip diagram, your equation, your estimation, and your solve. I have already put all of your place value discs inside of it so that all you have to do is drag and drop them into your groups. If you have any questions, please ask your teacher. I know you're going to do a great job. Show me what you know, show me all your work, and I'll see you next week. Bye.